divorce. And I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
No,
But it's hard not to.
it's hard not to.
I mean, you really couldn't imagine the horror. It's just so crazy to imagine.
Ryan Reynolds is officially drowning in public shame after Scarlett Johansson finally exposed his manipulative and disgusting behavior from their past.
I didn't expect that.
She stayed quiet for years, but apparently, Ryan's little behind-the-scenes sabotage pushed her to the edge. And now, she's torching the Deadpool clown act for good.
My ego is too fragile.
And this time, it's hitting so bad because Scarlett Johansson never made a scene after her divorce from Ryan Reynolds. Not when the tabloids ran wild with speculation, not when the SNL sketches poked fun at their split, and not when Blake Lively took over the Hollywood spotlight beside him.
I have so much.
Probably smart though.
My brain is too fragile. I'm like a delicate flower.
I like the
I can only
self-awareness.
exist. I have enough anxiety.
You know what my tip is? Don't read the comments.
That would give me so much anxiety. I can't.
She moved on, kept her career clean, and stayed completely silent. But now, just days before her directorial debut, Eleanor the Great is set to premiere at Cannes on May 20th, 2025. Scarlett has finally broken the silence, and it's not what Ryan expected. In a Vanity Fair interview, when Justin Baldoni's name came up, Scarlett let out a loud laugh and called the situation weird timing.
She says this is weird. I think it's delicious.
She didn't throw shade, didn't point fingers. But she made it clear that Baldoni's Wayfarer Studios was supportive throughout her film's production. The very same Baldoni, who is now locked in a $400 million defamation lawsuit with Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and the New York Times. The timing wasn't just weird, it was radioactive. Scarlett didn't say much, but what she did say was enough to send Ryan's PR team into chaos.
A, I love that Vanity Fair asked her about it, and B, I love that she responded.
What people don't know is that the moment the interview hit the internet, Scarlett began receiving disturbing phone calls. According to people in her camp, these weren't just media inquiries. These were anonymous late-night calls filled with veiled threats and backhanded reminders that her career could be derailed. Her team suspected they came from people orbiting Reynolds and Lively's PR world. People who had everything to lose if Scarlett decided to go off script.
I can't do this. I'm too fragile.
I
have
actually
so much
appreciate
anxiety
that.
about other things. I can't.
But Scarlett didn't flinch. She told her reps she's done letting others shape her narrative. These weren't just harmless calls. Her publicist confirmed that Scarlett was being warned that she could be subpoenaed in the Baldoni case. Hollywood insiders were already whispering about how Eleanor the Great might be blacklisted from future festivals if she didn't publicly distance herself from Baldoni. Scarlett refused.
The Cannes Film Festival just kicked off, and Scarlett Johansson is there with her directorial fudge. Fudge.
Team Reynolds allegedly made quiet moves behind the scenes to label Scarlett's film too risky for award circuits. One insider from a Cannes committee leaked that Blake's reps even made informal complaints, warning them about platforming a film co-produced by a man under legal scrutiny. The hypocrisy was impossible to ignore. Blake was out promoting Another Simple Favor, the same film she allegedly tried to shut down production on when things went sour with Baldoni. And yet, she had the nerve to call out others for working with him.
They show me what we're doing. And we also make terrible videos.
The pressure didn't stop there. Internal emails between PR execs, now leaked by a disgruntled assistant, revealed discussions about creating narrative diversions in media to keep Scarlett from becoming sympathetic. There were even references to releasing old relationship baggage if she didn't comply. That baggage? Ryan Reynolds.
What I like
Yeah, it
about
is distracting. It is distracting. It's a
fun,
big
though.
distraction.
Scarlett's team responded by going silent for 48 hours. But during that time, a firm decision was made. No damage control. No fake Unity posts. No forced joint statements. Scarlett would speak the truth. Not in a press conference, not in an apology video, but in actions. She went ahead with promoting Eleanor the Great without censoring her connection to Baldoni. She praised him for standing by her film when no one else would. She made it clear she wasn't endorsing his case, but she wasn't abandoning him either. Ryan, meanwhile, reportedly had a complete meltdown. Insiders from the Deadpool 3 set said he stormed off during filming after someone joked that Scarlett's movie might beat his in Oscar buzz. His name had never been linked directly to the film, until now. Suddenly, media outlets were tying Scarlett's comeback and Cannes buzzed to his name. And for a man who has spent years curating a beloved husband, father, comedian image, this was a narrative collapse he hadn't planned for. What stung the most was Scarlett's quiet confidence. She didn't accuse him of anything directly, but she didn't defend him either. In private, she told her publicist, "I was manipulated once, it's not happening again." That line made its way to a few select reporters, and just like that, the perfect Reynolds Lively image began to crack. It wasn't a tabloid frenzy. It wasn't an explosive tell-all. It was one sentence, cold, sharp, and honest. Blake Lively was said to be furious behind the scenes, not just because of the Scarlett situation, but because the press was shifting the spotlight. Instead of focusing on her survivor narrative in the Baldoni feud, people were talking about how she and Ryan might have bullied others into silence for years. Suddenly, Scarlett wasn't just a director promoting a film. She was the inconvenient truth they couldn't control. The last time Scarlett was this close to a media storm was during her divorce. Back then, she chose dignity over drama. Now, she's choosing clarity over silence. With Lisa Bloom warning that Scarlett might be called to testify in Baldoni's case, the stakes are rising fast. If the film flops, Baldoni can blame Blake's allegations. If it succeeds, his legal argument crumbles. Either way, Scarlett is right in the middle of it. Scarlett Johansson and Ryan Reynolds married in September 2008. On paper, they were Hollywood's golden couple, both successful, both adored by the press. But behind the carefully posed red carpets and glowing headlines, insiders say the dynamic was far from equal. By 2010, just 2 years into the marriage, cracks began to show. When they announced their divorce in December of that year, both issued vague, amicable statements. But sources close to Johansson now say the truth was buried beneath years of emotional control. In a 2023 episode of the Goop podcast, Gwyneth Paltrow casually brought up Ryan, prompting Scarlett to call him a good guy. The quote was recycled across celebrity blogs as proof that their relationship ended on peaceful terms. But a Vanity Fair contributing editor who interviewed Scarlett in April 2025 told a different story off the record. According to her, Scarlett never denied that Ryan presented well publicly, but she confided that he was emotionally condescending and power-obsessed. A longtime assistant who worked with Scarlett between 2009 and 2012 described her as visibly dimmed during that period. Scarlett, who had just come off Oscar-nominated performances in Match Point and Vicky Cristina Barcelona, began turning down high-profile roles. A rejected lead in Black Swan, a part that eventually went to Natalie Portman, was one of them. The official reason was scheduling conflicts, but emails revealed in a 2021 studio hack referenced it. Scarlett being pressured to deprioritize filming in Q1 due to spousal issues. The timing lines up with Ryan's career acceleration. In 2010, he was cast as Green Lantern and started publicly angling for bigger Marvel recognition, which would later result in his role as Deadpool. Multiple sources confirm he was fixated on securing a franchise, something Scarlett already had in her role as Natasha Romanoff in the MCU. A Marvel casting director told the Ankler anonymously in 2022. Ryan couldn't stand the idea that she was ahead of him. The final straw reportedly came when Scarlett accepted a lead in a 2011 indie project, Under the Skin, a film Ryan believed was too art house and would distract from their public image. He allegedly told her team the film's subject matter, alien seduction and identity crisis, was off-brand for the wife of a superhero. Scarlett refused to step back. Just weeks later, the divorce was announced on December 14, 2010. By mid-2011, she had relocated to New York, cut ties with several mutual Hollywood contacts, and began rebuilding her professional circle independently. Despite the clean press narrative, those who knew her say she described the marriage as a 3-year PR campaign where she was cast as supportive wife number 1. Ryan, meanwhile, remarried quickly, tying the knot with Blake Lively in 2012, and leaned hard into his wholesome, snarky dad image. Scarlett said nothing until now. On February 10th, 2025, Saturday Night Live aired a sketch that had the internet dissecting every frame. Written by head writer and Weekend Update co-anchor Colin Jost, the skit was titled Crisis Control. It featured a smug, overconfident superhero played by guest host Pedro Pascal, who wore a red leather suit with a gold maple leaf emblem, a not-so-subtle nod to Reynolds' Canadian roots. The superhero's nemesis wasn't a villain. It was his own wife, a struggling actress played by Cecily Strong, who kept getting manipulated into leaving her roles for the sake of his public image. The twist? Every time the wife tried to assert herself, the superhero character would deliver faux empowering lines like, "Go be brilliant, babe. Just not today. My brand's trending." The audience laughed, but Twitter exploded. Reddit threads under ER Live from New York and RR Faux Celebs racked up over 9,000 comments within 48 hours, with headlines like, "SNL just eviscerated Ryan Reynolds without saying his name." The monologue that introduced the sketch didn't help either. Josh joked, "Some people say marriage is about compromise. Others say it's about making sure your spouse doesn't take your screen time." Fans familiar with the Reynolds-Johansson history didn't need subtitles. The reference was clear. Scarlett never commented publicly, but a former PR strategist for Johansson leaked a conversation held days after the episode aired. According to the source, Scarlett allegedly told her team, "Ryan is a joke who thinks he's a legacy, but he's just a brand with abs." The quote was never officially confirmed, but it began circulating among entertainment journalists and was quoted indirectly in a Vulture piece published on March 2nd, 2025. The reason this skit hit so hard wasn't just the content, it was the context. Colin Jost, Scarlett's husband since 2020, had never publicly addressed her past marriage. But in this one calculated strike, he used the platform he knew best to flip the narrative. According to backstage staff at 30 Rock, Jost had been sitting on that sketch for months, waiting for the right guest host and timing to deliver it. When Ryan's team was asked for comment by Entertainment Tonight, they declined. But a source close to Reynolds told the Wrap that Ryan was absolutely livid and considered it an ambush using national TV. One entertainment lawyer even speculated that Reynolds considered filing a complaint with NBC for character defamation under parody grounds, but dropped it once it became clear public opinion was not in his favor. Justin Baldoni isn't attending Cannes this year. Officially, it's to avoid distraction amid ongoing litigation. But industry insiders know the real reason. He's become radioactive. Ever since Blake Lively filed a sexual harassment claim against him and Wayfarer Studios CEO Jamie Heath, followed by a coordinated smear narrative just days before the It Ends With Us marketing push. Baldoni has lost 3 projects, 2 brand endorsements, and all agency representation. His defamation countersuit, filed on April 29, 2025, targets Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and the New York Times for $400 million in reputational damages. In the middle of this public firestorm stands Scarlett Johansson, and she's not backing down. In her May 2025 Vanity Fair interview, she plainly acknowledged that Baldoni and his company Wayfarer Studios were the only ones who stood by her during the early development of Eleanor the Great. While most other studios dropped out citing market risk, specifically a lack of international appetite for female-led dramas, and concerns that aging protagonists don't sell, Baldoni moved forward. According to internal financing memos leaked by a former Wayfarer employee, Scarlett's debut was funded on a $7 million independent budget, 70% of which was personally underwritten by Baldoni through private equity. Scarlett didn't dance around the controversy. She said Baldoni believed in a story led by a 95-year-old woman, referencing June Squibb's starring role. She continued, "He deserves credit, not cancellation." At a closed-door canned roundtable on May 10, 2025, Scarlett reportedly defended Baldoni again when asked if she regretted accepting funding from his studio. According to filmmaker Ava DuVernay, who was in the room, Scarlett replied, "I don't punish people who help me tell the truth. The media can decide who gets the last word, but I know who showed up." Wayfarer Studios has been dropped by CAA, WME, and UTA since March 2025. Still, Scarlett kept their logo in the Cannes press kits, despite multiple journalists from Deadline and Variety, noting it might be safer PR-wise to omit it. Her response to a team member who raised that suggestion, per a leaked Slack message, was, "I'm not ashamed of the people who believed in me." According to documents filed with the Cannes Selection Committee, Eleanor the Great was submitted on February 9th, before the lawsuit exploded. But even after the scandal broke wide, Scarlett refused to backpedal. At a pre-Cannes event hosted by the American Cinematheque, she doubled down, saying the movie's journey was built by trust, and that doesn't disappear just because it's inconvenient now. Her words carry weight, especially given the Hollywood tendency to distance oneself at the first whiff of scandal. But for Scarlett, who directed, co-produced, and co-wrote the script, this isn't just a film. It's a fight to tell stories no one else wants to greenlight. And Baldoni, for all his legal baggage, was the one who helped her do it when no one else returned her calls. Scarlett has avoided directly naming names, but the implication is clear. Blake Lively is pulling strings. During a promotional stop for Eleanor the Great in Paris on May 12th, Johansson was asked if the media backlash was affecting the film's press tour. Her response? "Some people are louder off camera than they are on." That quote exploded across social media within an hour, with hashtags like #SnakeLively and #JusticeForScarlett trending in over 30 countries by sunset. The term Snake Lively wasn't created by fans. It first appeared in a leaked voice memo between two of Scarlett's marketing team members. In the 87-second clip, shared anonymously with TMZ on May 7th, one staffer says, "Blake is prettier than she is honest. She'll smile at you and stab your art behind your back. Classic Snake Lively." The phrase caught fire. Within days, parody merch started popping up online. Tote bags, mugs, even shirts worn by extras during Cannes setup. What gave the nickname weight was Blake's alleged interference with Cannes organizers. According to a report by Le Monde published May 11th, Blake's French PR agency had privately warned key committee members that honoring Eleanor the Great could be seen as endorsing abuse, due to its financial backing by Wayfarer Studios. The organizers have refused to confirm this publicly, but two internal emails, leaked to Der Spiegel, reference a non-participant pressure campaign, warning against the film's inclusion. Meanwhile, Blake continues her global press tour for another simple favor, giving interviews, posing for magazine covers, and discussing emotional trauma on set without ever addressing Scarlett or Cannes by name. But the timing is impossible to ignore. The day Eleanor the Great's Cannes selection was announced, April 24, Blake's team launched a social media campaign focused on survivor advocacy. What stings the most is the hypocrisy. Blake is promoting a dark comedy sequel where she plays a morally bankrupt manipulator while actively trying to sabotage a drama led by a 95-year-old actress. Even her public goodwill is coming under fire. According to an April 2025 poll by YouGov, Blake's favorability among women aged 18-34 dropped from 74% to 46% within 10 days of the leaked Scarlett memo. Scarlett's only on-the-record jab came on May 13th, during an interview with Telerama, when she was asked how she felt about Cannes possibly being politicized by the lawsuit. Her response? "When the stage isn't yours, it's easier to yell from the audience." It wasn't just a critique. It was a direct accusation. Scarlett is on the stage. Blake is throwing tomatoes from the crowd. And the deeper it gets, the more the media narrative shifts. What was once a neat story of victim versus villain is collapsing into something more uncomfortable. A power war between two actresses, one quietly loyal to her crew, the other publicly loyal to her brand. On May 12, 2025, celebrity attorney Lisa Bloom told DailyMail.com that Scarlett Johansson may be subpoenaed in the upcoming $400 million defamation case between Justin Baldoni and the trio of Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and the New York Times. According to Bloom, Scarlett is not just a bystander in the narrative anymore. She's a legal chess piece. The reason? Her film Eleanor the Great, co-financed by Baldoni's Wayfarer Studios, is now a potential exhibit in a courtroom. The logic is ruthless. If Eleanor the Great fails commercially or critically, Baldoni's legal team could argue that Blake's public harassment allegations and the subsequent Hollywood blacklist damaged his brand beyond repair. That damage, they argue, directly impacted his ability to launch and monetize creative projects. But if Scarlett's film succeeds, their claim weakens. The court could then interpret the victory as proof that Baldoni's career wasn't harmed by Blake's accusations. Scarlett's movie becomes evidence, not art, not expression, just leverage. Scarlett's response was swift. In a controlled statement released through her representative on May 13th, she said, "My truth isn't for sale, and my film's success belongs to the artists, not the courtroom." It was brief, sharp, and not up for interpretation. That line was picked up by The Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, and Variety within the hour. Her publicist declined further comment, but insiders say Johansson is preparing for a fight of her own. According to a leak from within her legal circle, Scarlett has hired a private team of litigators, separate from her agency's in-house legal counsel. One of the names reportedly involved is Leanne Grant, a former ACLU trial attorney known for her no-settlement stance in artist rights disputes. The move wasn't just precaution, it was preemptive. There are whispers that Reynolds' legal team has already requested informal depositions from Eleanor's crew, hoping to quietly collect statements about Baldoni's conduct on set.